Hello again, everyone. Tony Winston here. Welcome back to my channel. I want to thank my recent Patreon subscribers, Ted, Carl, the Psy Doc, Louis, Augusto, Ira, and George. Thanks very much. I really appreciate it. I had a request from somebody about doing a song, When I Fall in Love, and I did recently do a video about it, but I was kind of watching it today, and it's long and too involved. So I'm going to do a kind of a simple version of it today. And once again, I'm using this book, Frank Mantooth's reharmonizations of popular songs. And he says in this thing that the original harmonies are very static. And he's right. If you use the original harmonies, it's like E flat, E flat, E flat, and then finally a 2-5. And so I'm going to use some of his reharms just to, because it's so common to use most of these days. So I'll do that, and I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to try to play mostly just chords with my left hand. I'm going to try to keep the melody right here in the middle. So occasionally I'll have to use an open voicing, and I'm going to talk a little bit about soloing. But it has come to my attention that a lot of people are trying to learn how to solo using these, exotic scales. Not that exotic, but, diminished scale, altered scale, Lydian dominant scale, things like that. And they're trying to do this before they can really just improvise a melody with the major scale. And so I'm going to address that a little bit. What you need to do is pick out melodies by ear. Put the radio on, or put the record of standards on, and just bang around on the piano and get familiar enough with the melodies that you can play them by ear and just find them on the piano. I guarantee that'll put you on the right track to improvising if you're having trouble with it. So, and then the next thing is just improvise on the blues. It's a short form. It's like 12 bars long. It's hard to get lost in the blues, so you can. You know exactly where you are, and you're using the blues scale for the most part. And, that's where all great solos kind of come out of anyway, is the blues. So anyway, here we go. When I Fall in Love. And, we're going to start with an E flat chord. Instead of E flat major 9, we're just going to do E flat major, and our melody is here. Then we're going to go to C plus 7 with a sharp 9. I'm just going to play every dominant chord. I'm going to play a root, a third, and a seventh, and the melody note, and hopefully that gives me enough of the chord to make sense. The sharp 9 is here if you want to put it in. F minor, the melody is the 7th, and now, when you have these 2 5s where the 5 chord is a suspended chord, all you need to do is touch the bass note there, and you've got B flat suspended. That is the suspended third right there, the melody. Then back to the melody here. Going on. Now, there's some advanced harmonies here, which do sound really nice, but let's keep it simple. You could do a little harmony like that or something, or just play it. Again, the melody note is taking care of that plus. That's the augmented chord. And here, let's go F7th, and I'm going to play the root, the 7th, and because it's so low, I'm going to put the 3rd here, the melody note here, and those little tiny notes here gives me the 13, the flat 13, which is the same as the plus, and just kind of moving it on down, something like that. Now here we have room to play an E flat major 7th, and I'm playing all 4 notes. Now it says B flat minor 6th. I like to go down like that. But I also thought that B flat minor 6 is the same thing as G minor 7 flat 5, which also goes nicely to C. So do it either way. So I just hit that, hit the F minor again. That gives me a B flat suspended. And then I just inverted to a B flat 7th. And then we're back to the... What could we do? Let's try the reharm. We got D7, then D flat 7, and C7. And again, the same thing here. I mean, you could just do F minor 7th, but I really like the dominant chord there. So the same thing we did last time. That A7 is very, very, typical now. Now I did something tricky there. This is a tritone away, an A7 flat 5 is exactly the same as the chord a tritone away, and E flat 7th flat 5. So all I did there was turn it into a dominant chord and flat the 5. And then here we go up to A flat major 7th. And we have that nice Lydian note there, so you could try the reharm, play a whole A flat chord here and a B flat chord here. Might be nice. And then now, here it says A flat minor 6, but once again, that's always the same thing as a minor 7 flat 5 chord, and it happens to be F minor 7 flat 5. So I'll just change that one note. I think the melody is that. I don't know. And there I put an E flat major 7th in. And got a little dissonance going there with the harmony there. Art Tatum, I keep talking about Art Tatum all the time because I've only been listening to Art Tatum lately. I usually listen as I'm going to sleep, or when I wake up in the middle of the night, I put something on to kind of go back to sleep too, and then I usually put it on again first thing in the morning. And I've got about 5 or 6 Art Tatum albums on my iPad. And now when I listen to any other piano player, they all sound like amateurs to me. I don't care how good they are. Chick Corea, Monty Alexander, they all sound like amateurs. Because Art Tatum, and I know he's not everybody's cup of tea because, he does those fast runs all the time, up and down, up and down. But all those harmonies and that reharmonization and just his flow of ideas and then his absolute, unbeatable technique. Anyway, I just dig him a lot, and he ends a lot of songs with kind of these beautiful harmonies with the root on top and the major 7th, like right there. It just sounds really cool. And just to digress a little bit, I took up one of his songs, I went to the studio and I slowed it down to like half speed and worked out a run. It's just a pentatonic run like this. I think it was like blue sky is calling at me, nothing. It was going from this chord and ending on that chord, had maybe something in between there. Okay, I learned how to do it. I played it as fast as I possibly could, like that. And it's not even close to how fast he plays it, and his playing has such precise articulation. I mean, you would think, some kind of a robotic machine is playing this. It's unbelievably fast. So, I was trying all kinds of ways of how do I get that faster, My fingers are pretty well trained. I can go pretty fast. So I tried not looking, and that did help a little bit. Learning how to do it, by feel, because Art Tatum was practically blind. Could barely see anything. And when he plays a song, he'll play the melody here, and then he's up here playing it, and then he's in the middle playing it, and he really uses the entire keyboard. And for somebody as sight impaired as he was, that it is simply phenomenal. To me, the only other person that compares with him is J.S. Bach. Bach is like you cannot analyze that kind of genius. You just can't. Nobody knows where that comes from. Let's get back to the song for a minute and just put the blues scale in here. And the good thing about E flat major is if you use the C blues scale, it's what I call the happy or the major blues scale for E flat. Same notes as in C, but if you go E flat like that, and this song's in a major key, and so that will sound pretty good. Now the E flat blues scale it's much harder because it's all black keys with this one. So, I do it fingering wise, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But, sometimes I might change it, to have my fourth finger there. All right, so I'm just going to use those two blues scales. And, it's going to sound like... And you just can't be embarrassed about doing something like that, and because you can kind of hear that it's not as sophisticated. It proves the fact that the blues scale will work over practically anything. And you can play a lot of songs like this: Autumn Leaves, Georgia on My Mind, stuff like that. You find the right one or two blues scales, and you can get through the entire song. I think I've got a few videos where I do that. But that way, you're not thinking about scales and stuff. You can't really do that and learn to improvise. You've got to just kind of be going for a melody that you can kind of hear in your head. And then all these scales and everything, it just helps you learn how to improve on what you're doing. You cannot learn to improvise by learning the diminished scale. It's like trying to learn how to write a story by, reading the dictionary. It gives you, the nuts and bolts, but you've got to learn how to do the actual process, without all that theory. So anyway, there you go. When I Fall in Love. I do have another video about it with open voicings where I sing it and do all kinds of obnoxious shit. So, I'll put the link down there in the description. Thank you once again for all your support, and hope to see you back here again soon.